My name is Kelley Keller. I was born November 22nd, 1973. It was Thanksgiving Day that year. I'm an adopted child, and I understood that I was adopted by the time I was about 5 years old. So when I was 21, my mom called me and said, Kelley, there's some information that I want you to have. When you were about 15, your birth mother tried to find you. But your father and I felt that you were too young and you were not in a position to be able to process and handle that information. But now that you're 21, it's your information to have, and we wanted you to know it. Okay, big piece of information. All I knew about my birth mother at that time is that she was 13 when she got pregnant, and she was 14 when she gave birth to me in November of 1973. What I didn't know is that I was conceived in rape, and that she had been raped twice. One day, my birth mother and her girlfriend were hitchhiking, and they were picked up by a couple of men, taken to a hotel, and both of them were raped. She went home, never told anybody about it. The next month, she and her older brother and a bunch of their friends, or I should say his friends, were together playing a game of Truth or Dare. And her brother dared his friend, who was 19, to take his sister and have sex with her. So his friend took her, kind of tricked her into what they were going to do, and then he forced himself on her. A few months later, her mom noticed that she was thickening up a little bit in the middle and took her to the family physician. He took one of the old-fashioned measuring tapes and measured her belly, and based on those measurements, established that not only was she pregnant, but she was due on October 22nd, 1973. Remember, Roe versus Wade had just been decided in January, which meant that no state could prohibit abortion altogether. They could prohibit it fully after 6 months. They could regulate it and have some restrictions in the second trimester, but they certainly couldn't in the first trimester. Well, here was the challenge. She's just finding out she's pregnant, but given Roe and given Florida law at the time, she was 1 month too far along to have an abortion, which meant that she didn't have the option to have an abortion and would need to carry the child to term. So, with the support of her mother, she went to a home for unwed mothers, which was not uncommon at that time, and they were able to give the young girls who'd gotten pregnant proper nutrition, prenatal care, etc. And October 22nd came and went, and no baby. And October 23rd came and went, and no baby. Until 1 month later, on November 22nd, Thanksgiving Day, a little after 1 in the afternoon, a baby. Had the doctor not gotten the due date wrong, I would not have been born, or there's a pretty good chance I would not have been born. I know all of this because when I was 21, I took the information that my mother gave me. I called the adoption agency, and it turned out that my birth mother had always wanted to meet me. She had kept her information up to date with the adoption agency all those years. So every time she moved, anytime anything changed, she'd later gotten married, had a couple of kids, she always let them know where she was. In addition to that, she would write these love letters to me year after year after year, and beautiful letters that were showing like a little bit of like sort of this lovelorn or just this mourning. I don't know where you are. Wherever you are, I know you're okay, and this is what I would have said to you. So because she'd kept her information up to date, there was no search. So immediately, no problem, we can put you in touch with her. And by the way, we have a package of information for you. So in comes the mail, and I have all these, a lifetime of letters from her. And within 3 weeks, I was on the phone with her. Over that winter was a time of me talking with her, getting to know her, and learning my whole story. That's when I understood that, wow, I literally survived Roe versus Wade in the womb. I might not have been born, but for one man's mistake. We've had conversations over the years whether or not that family physician accidentally made the mistake. It was a lot to process. So here I am. I'm in college. I'm hearing how important it is for women to be able to abort their children because they will ruin their lives. And at the same time, I'm learning that I was saved by a hair's breadth, and that for some reason, I escaped the abortionist tools. That was the beginning of a lifelong exploration for why was I saved and why is this the only way women can be equal to men? There was a cognitive dissonance there that would take me 30 years to be able to reconcile.